Have you ever had a day or a week where it feels like everything is going wrong? You can't catch a break and things are just falling apart. If you're having one of those weeks or days, then today's message is just for you. Hey y'all, what's up? It's Dr. Allison and I am here with another video. If you're familiar with me, then you already know that I've made it my life mission as a psychologist to simplify psychology and make it relatable for our everyday lives. And today I'm actually out at an apple orchard in Michigan with my husband. Being out here that reminded me of a memory when we did this a couple years ago when I was having a really hard time and it felt like everything in my life was sort of going wrong. I was on my residency, I was living away from Matt, Monday through Friday I was working there, I would come home, I was in the middle of my dissertation. It just felt like things were falling apart and I found myself thinking like, oh, why can't I catch a break? I was reminded of that memory today when things are much different and I realized I'm probably not the only one who has had an experience where it feels like everything is going wrong. So today I'm here to share 5 things that I want you to remember when it feels like everything is crashing down and your world is falling apart. The first is I want you to remember that not everything is falling apart, right? Not everything is going wrong. You know, I've talked about before that our thoughts are not always the truth. And it's important if we're going to be healthy humans that we learn to question our thoughts. So when we say everything, that's a little cue to our brains that it's what we call a cognitive distortion, meaning it's a distorted thought. So stop and ask yourself, really is everything going wrong? Is your computer broken? Do you still have your health? Do you have money in your bank account? Are things going well with your pet? What's happening? What are some good projects at work? Actually name some things that are going well. You may have to really search and dig, but I think what you're going to find is there may absolutely be some things that are falling apart, but it's not everything. Challenge your brain on that. The second thing I want you to remember is that this feeling, this moment is temporary. I think when we're in these moments of awfulness, we think this is never gonna go away, but remember, it's temporary. Some people might be saying, Dr. Allison, but what I'm going through isn't temporary, right? So maybe you've had a significant loss or there's a change in your health condition that is permanent. Well, that part might not be temporary. The way that you are feeling and your experience, your closeness to that awfulness, that part is temporary. So your feelings and your experience can change. The third thing is that you have options, right? Even in the middle of this awfulness, you have options. Take time to remind yourself of those options. It's not as hopeless and doom and gloom as you think. So name through those options, however small they might be, to help yourself feel a little bit more in control. The fourth thing I want you to remember is that you are not alone. It's easy in pain as humans, we tend to isolate, we feel separate, different, broken, and defective. But when you are struggling, please remember that you're not in this all by yourself. You have people, even if it's just 1 or 2 people, who care about you and are there to support you. If you don't feel like you have those people, then I challenge you to ask for support. Sometimes people just don't know when it feels like our world is sort of caving in on us. Ask for help. Let people know you're struggling. That gives them an opportunity to support you, help you, and validate that things feel really crappy. The fifth and final thing that I want you to remember is that you have likely felt this way before and you've made it through and things have turned around. So in those moments when I feel like, oh my God, my world is caving in, right? This thing isn't working, this thing is broken, I'm running out of options, I really try to remind myself, Allison, you felt this way before. And I can think back to actual times and I remind myself, those times passed, I made it through and they didn't last. You probably have those times where you felt like this before and you made it through. Remind yourself of those times, and if you need to, write them down so that you can remember this time, this feeling, it won't last. It's so easy when it feels like lots of awful, negative, difficult things are happening. And it's important that we don't minimize those things, but that we put them into context and really look at, is everything going awful and wrong? Do we really not have any options? Are we as isolated as we feel? And the answer to those questions is probably no. But our thoughts want to run wild and convince us that everything has gone to hell in a handbasket, all right? It has not. But it takes some conscious effort up here to remind yourself of those things. Remember, we have the power to change the way we think, and that changes the way we experience our lives. If you are at a place where you feel like everything is going wrong, things are falling apart, whether that's just on a crappy day or whether you're having a particularly difficult time in your life, I want you to remember those 5 things. Thank you so much for watching, y'all. I'm so grateful to have your time and attention, that you continue to let me help you navigate this difficult, crazy thing called life. If you want more good stuff like this, please check out my website, drallisonanswers.com. I post a lot of little tips and tricks for how you can live a healthier, happier life. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely hit the subscribe button, because then you'll be the very first to know about upcoming videos. I'm off to enjoy the rest of the day apple picking, which is a reminder for me that I am not in the same place I was in several years ago, that those difficult times can turn around. You can do that too in your own life. It might take a little bit of work, but it's totally possible. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Have an awesome rest of the day. Bye-bye.